Ready, set, hut, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sound of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
But Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast. We're providing you West Virginia sports content from Mountaineer fans for Mountaineer fans. Here today for the March 31st live stream here on the Country Roads webcast, as both head coach Rich Rodriguez and running back coach Jay Boulware met with the media yesterday. Normally I'd try and cover that the day of the press conference, but I was out of town with my wife for the day on that day, so here we are on Tuesday, going to cover both of these things, and I think there were some interesting tidbits to come out from both coaches. Really, mainly one thing that I want to hit on from running backs coach Jay Boulware, something that really excites me about freshman running back Amari Latimer. That's why he's listed in the title here, and we'll lead off with that and the comments from the running back coach momentarily, and then I'll hit on my notes from Rich Rod's press conference, some things that stood out to me from what he had to say in that meeting with the media after that before we wrap up. And then, of course, at the end, if anyone in here live has got some questions, comments there in the chat, I'll get some of those before we wrap up. But that's what's pretty much on the docket for this one. Won't keep you guys too long. I know you guys want to catch the Mountaineer baseball game coming up later tonight, so give you guys plenty of time to get out of here before doing that. But that's what I've got planned for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're watching live or on a playback. And either way there, you can help me out by hitting that thumbs up button, helping that video, give it a like, helps it hit that YouTube algorithm so it finds other Mountaineer fans like you and me. And be sure you're subscribed here to the channel to get notified when we go live like this, and of course get the pre-recorded videos in your feed also, putting out the WVU News Daily updates every Monday through Friday here on the channel, keeping you up to date with everything going on throughout the Mountaineer Nation sports world. So with that bit out of the way, let's talk a bit about this. Let's lead off with running backs coach Jay Boulware, and I think we have some really good insights into Amari Latimer, and you'll see why I wanted to title the video about him playing like a veteran already. So, and then we have some clips even from practice to showcase a little bit about what Jay Boulware is talking about. We'll show here of the true freshman West Virginia running back who we were all really excited to, flip from Wisconsin, high-rated 4-star running back. And Jay Boulware, the running back coach, the main note I had from his press conference was him talking up Amari Latimer when he was asked about the other guys in the running back room, other than Cam Cook, of course, who was kind of the standout, the veteran in the room, right? He said that Amari Latimer is conducting himself like a veteran right now. And to me, I jotted down in my notes right there when I first heard that, sounds like running back 2 status to me already. And from what I've understand and what I've heard, that has been pretty much the case. He's been running with the second team there at the running back position. And so that, comment alone kind of showcases that, and that's why you get the title of the video that I got on this thing. It's because, according to the running back coach, he indeed is conducting himself like a veteran, a true freshman running back in Amari Latimer. And then he goes on to say, and this is the part that really gets you excited and what really stands out, is that he said he hasn't seen that often. He can only think of one other time ever that he's had a true freshman running back conduct himself the way that Amari Latimer does, do veteran things, stay after practice, watch film, get extra, reps in, all of those things. And so to hear that type of praise already is really impressive that the running back coach said he's only ever seen one other freshman that's doing the things that Amari Latimer is doing as far as conducting himself in a veteran manner. So really exciting there, and he's been making some plays, man. And the WVU football account's been sharing some of them. So let's take a look here. I'll play the first video, which he's towards the end of, but you get some good clips of some other stuff in practice. So let's play it first. And then we still got to get to Rich Rod's comments as well. But here's a video from practice that they put out. Amari Latimer's, I think, about 40 seconds in here towards the end of this one. I'll let you guys know when he comes up. And then we got another clip that they put out recently as well. So I think that some of these things we can see with our eyes back up what we're hearing with our ears about Amari Latimer from the running back coach and beyond as we get to Rich Rod's comments here in a bit. Here comes Amari momentarily. Right here is Amari Latimer. You can see him make a move, get the sideline, get the end zone. And let me mute this, and I'll highlight some of the other ones through there as well. Definitely wanted you guys to see Amari Latimer right here. As we talk about him here at the beginning of this video, give him a little bit of a feature. Touchdown from him. But if we go back through, we can see multiple guys making plays here. Start here. Damari Williams with an interception there. Looks like on that one. The junior college safety. And good speed here from Jaron Hughley, a true freshman quarterback. Then we get to see Scotty Fox fling one to new transfer tight end Cam Ball, who makes a nice grab there. Couldn't quite see the number of who's running that one, but good stuff from the defense. Nice catch right there on that one. As this one right here, we see Michael Hawkins to another tight end transfer in Josh Sapp. So both tight ends getting in on the action here in this video clip. Josh Sapp, the Clemson transfer tight end. There's Teron Francis scoring a touchdown, which I shared the video of him and DJ Epps, who both are included in this clip on social media in the past, if you want to follow me there. That looks like John Johnson. Couldn't quite see the number on that one. Of course, there's our Amari Latimer clip right there that we're really excited about. And there's the DJ Epps clip that I was referencing when they had the clip of him and Teron Francis both scoring a touchdown. DJ Epps looking extra shifty on that one. So we have that from Amari Latimer. And then here recently, we saw both Amari Latimer and his brother make plays in the scrimmage, and WVU's social media account shared that. So here's another play of Amari Latimer. Look at that. Let's play it again. So catching that swing screen, it looks like, and watch him lower the shoulder here. That's impressive. That's a true freshman doing that, man. And, not only is Jay Boulware talking about, really referencing him conducting himself as a veteran when it comes to, watching film, extra reps and all those things, but I'd say making veteran moves on the field, as we've seen here in those couple plays. So really excited about Amari Latimer and his potential this season. I think right now he's looking like he's running back 2 for West Virginia behind Cam Cook. So let's talk a little bit about Cam Cook and some more on the running backs and some other positions as well, as I'll get into my notes on Rich Rod's press conference now, as we've talked about our Amari Latimer, gave him his flowers here at the beginning and talked about running back coach Jay Boulware's press conference notes. Let's talk a little bit about Rich Rod's, as Rich Rod referenced the Saturday scrimmage back on March 28th as just okay. The offense moved the ball some and made some plays. And then he says the defense wasn't as physical as he would have liked and still had some problems lining up. So just read the tea leaves right there. Seems like the offense is ahead of the defense this year at this point in the spring, which you would probably expect. I think you have some returners on offense. Got a lot of new guys there as well, but some guys returning defense is a lot more new guys. I think that's why you hear, the problems about them lining up. And, that's pretty much what Rich Rod said was the new guys was a lot of the reason they were having trouble lining up on defense. But I think, I'm always a glass half full kind of guy, but that excites me about the prospects of the offense for this season potentially. Definitely seems like we're going to have some more playmakers and be a lot more fun to watch on that side of the ball. Rich Rod said the effort was okay. Some guys still learning what their definition of playing hard is here in this program at WVU. And I think, that's just something that comes with time because they hold them to a high standard, hard edge mentality, all of that. So that'll come in due time, I do feel like. But Rich Rod, of course, feels like it should have already been learned after practice number 1 was one thing that he mentioned. Of course, practice 7 was yesterday. The scrimmage on Saturday was practice number 6. And let's see what else we got here. He says you can see a lot of potential on the team in certain spots. So kind of, a little bit of a, what do they call it, a compliment sandwich there, as, he was upset with the effort. He said that should have been learned after practice 1, but then, brings it back around to say, a lot of potential in this team at certain spots. Was asked about the quarterbacks. He said, Scotty, you can tell that he has a bit more of experience, but still has moments of being, a young guy. And you remember that he is a young guy, only a sophomore. And then on Michael Hawkins, says he's picked up things really well and is a competitive guy with a great skill set, and he's pleased with his progress thus far. So some thoughts there on the 2 quarterbacks as they battle. He also mentioned Max Brown, and Max Brown, having a good skill set at the position and, being a bit of a veteran now in college. So, mentioned those 3 and then said the young quarterbacks are still learning, which you would expect at this point with them, enrolling early and coming here for the spring. But even those highlights we saw from practice, you saw Jaron Hughley with his speed there. So some of those young quarterbacks I do think have potential. We saw Jaron Hughley in there, and I think John Johnson was in one of the clips as well. Then we had him talk a little bit about the offensive line, and I thought this was interesting. He was, kind of talking about how Rick Trickett is trying to cross-train a lot of the guys so they can play multiple positions on that offensive line so they can move guys around a little bit. And we know that, one of those things that's been happening is Nick Cray, who was a tackle last season, is a guard this year. And, whatever you got to do to get your best 5 on the field, I'm all for. But did Rich Rod hit a little bit about kind of the top linemen right now? Because he named, I think, 6 guys. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 guys by name when he was talking about the offensive line, and those 6 were Kevin Brown, Landon Livingston, Nick Cray, Amari Grayson, Cameron Griffin, and Malik Agbo were the 6 offensive linemen he mentioned by name when he was talking about, how Rick Trickett's training them and cross-training those guys. So something that I noted, maybe just reading the tea leaves a little bit, but that's what's always fun to do with these press conferences. And then, of course, continuing with our running back theme for today's live stream, he was asked about Cam Cook again and pretty much just detailed that he needs to be the alpha in the room and the leader of the room. So, that's really a lot that they're putting onto him, and as well they should, as he's a veteran now in college football, the nation's leading rusher last year. And he also said, they kind of know what they have with Cam Cook, so they're not really, or they haven't really to this point, let him go live a lot in the spring, just trying to preserve him. So that's also probably a reason why Amari Latimer's been able to stick out. It's because he's probably been getting a lot of the carries, the bulk of the carries, the kind of the first team reps there in those live scenario, those live scrimmage scenarios, since they're not playing Cam Cook as much there. So I definitely think we'll see a lot of true freshman Amari Latimer this year. Martavis Boswell, I think, can still be a player as well, especially a good change of pace speed guy that can go score a long touchdown for you. I think we got a lot of good running backs in this room, but to hear your new running back coach speak highly of your true freshman already, to see him make some plays there on the field, I think really bodes well when you got a guy like Cam Cook who's going to be kind of your bell cow, so to speak. If you have a true freshman that can really complement that, some speed guys like Martavis Boswell and Chris Talley to go along with it, really like West Virginia has in that running back room. And the offensive line we know is going to be a lot better with better pieces and a much better offensive line coach as well. So I continue to be excited about the things that I'm hearing on the offensive side of the football for West Virginia, which as we wrap that up, the final little note I have from the press conferences was Rich Rod talking about the wide receivers a little bit, which he called Jaden Bray the most physical presence at wide receiver, and said what Cam Cook is to the running back room, Jaden Bray is to the wide receiver room. So that tells you right there, Jaden Bray looking like wide receiver 1 for this team. And, we've known about his talent, just need him to stay healthy is the only issue. And hopefully that happens this year, knock on wood, right? But, from what I've seen, I think the receivers I've seen him talk the most about have been, of course, Jaden Bray, Teron Francis, DJ Epps, and Prince Strawn also, who's very physically capable at over 6'5". So I think those are kind of some of the main guys you're going to see on the outside. Of course, Teron Francis can play the inside as well. DJ Epps can play the inside. So I think for now, those are kind of some of the main names that are standing out at the wide receiver position. So I think we got some good tidbits from these press conferences yesterday, both, of course, on the running back room, Amari Latimer, Cam Cook, etc. The offensive line, we got some guys mentioned by names. We've seen some guys making plays in the clips that we saw there. A couple of tight ends there with Cam Ball and Josh Sapp. And then really good news about the wide receiver room yet again, which I think that's one of the rooms that's been talked up the most thus far, is the wide receivers, and maybe rightfully so with a lot of the veterans they have in that room. So we'll see how it turns out there, but that's pretty much what I had, guys. I wanted to hit on that Amari Latimer stuff that really stuck out to me from Jay Boulware's press conference, and then of course had my notes from Rich Rod's press conference as I continue to try and keep you guys up to date with all this spring football news and spring football updates, and I'll continue to do that as the practices continue in the lead up to the Spring Festival on April 18th. But appreciate you guys tuning in this one, whether live or on a playback. Either way, be sure you hit that thumbs up button. That way this video hits the YouTube algorithm, finds other Mountaineer fans. Be sure you subscribe to the channel to not only get notified of live streams like this in the future, as I'll be having plenty of them here throughout spring football and pretty much all the way leading up to football season, as the basketball portal will be going then, so I have plenty of live streams talking about that. But I also do pre-recorded videos every Monday through Friday talking about all WVU sports, in addition to just the basketball and football coverage we typically do in these live streams. So be sure you're subscribed here. I'm going to get some of your all's comments here in the chat. Appreciate you guys that tuned in here live and dropped some of those in there. If you didn't get a chance to tune in live and you got some thoughts, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond in text form. Always try and respond to your all's comments in due time, and appreciate all those interactions. So with that being said, let's take a look here. We got Eric Flowers in the house. What's going on, Eric? He said this QB battle should make both of them better. The O-line, the wide receivers. I'm getting excited. Hey, me too, Eric Flowers. Me too. I think multiple capable quarterbacks, definitely both Scotty Fox and Michael Hawkins are guys to be excited about. Keep hearing good things about the wide receiver room. You have faith in the offensive line, both with the great pieces you've brought in, and even more so because Rick Trickett's the guy leading that group now, and then positive updates on the running backs as well lately. It had been a ton about Cam Cook, but it was good to hear some of the other guys get some love today. Amari Latimer, as a true freshman, I think has a really bright future, so I'm getting excited about this offense as well. Now, I have some concerns about the defense. That's the only, that's the other side of that coin. I'm trying to keep it, positive here, stay optimistic, but I do have some concerns, especially secondary-wise and stuff on the defense, but hopefully, they have plenty of time until game one of the season. Hopefully they're able to get some of that straightened out. And realistically, I'm just hoping that the offense is that good and the defense isn't that bad, right? That's, with the offense seemingly performing as well as they have in the spring, or performing as better, or so much better than the defense has thus far this spring, I should say. Kenny Evans said, so happy for new season. We as WV fans deserve better, and I think we're going to get a good bit better this year, Kenny. I'm excited too. I think that we got a chance to completely flip our record all the way around from 4-8 to 8-4. I think it's very much possible. I think 6 wins is the floor for this team, so I think we'll get more along the lines of what we need. He says Allie will bring the defense around. I agree, Kenny. I think that, that's one person I do have a lot of faith in, probably, right there with Rich Rod and Rick Trickett in terms of coaches that you have faith in on this staff. Zach Alley's high on that list. He can take these pieces and make something with it. It's just going to take some time, I think, is the only issue right now. But I have, full trust in Zach Alley that he's going to be able to build a competent defense this year to go along with what I think is going to be a much improved offense that should help lead to more wins in 2026. Eric Flowers says, I think it will be better everywhere with more time to shop for each player brought in. Completely agree. And I think you heard some of that from Ben Cutter when he was talking about you were more selective in being able to get what you wanted as far as better players, more athletic, get longer, all of those things. But I think you were also able to be more selective in getting guys that truly love football, that fit this culture. Seemed like there were, maybe some energy vampires in that on that roster last season, just judging by what Ben Cutter said, that aren't there this year, that are going to help not only on the field, but, those locker room practice guys as well, will help with the chemistry of the team, which, just helps lead to a better culture, which leads to more wins, right? Big Dan T says like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate that, Big Dan T. Appreciate you always reminding people. Yeah, always helps me out, guys, if y'all hit that thumbs up button on the video. And be sure you subscribe here. Trying to continue to get those subscriptions up, approaching 5,000. That's the next kind of main goal. Hopefully we'll get there before too long. We'll have plenty to talk about with spring football, basketball portal, all of those things in the lead up to football season when things really always heat up here. Hey, what's up, Devil Dog? Let's go. Let's go, Mountaineers, Devil Dog. He says, we're going to surprise the nation this year, let them sleep on us. Hey, that's right. That's what I'm always hoping for, right? We love it when the Mountaineers are underdogs. That's when we kind of perform our best. I love that the FanDuel win-loss line is 5.5. Hopefully DraftKings around that same. I think we're finally going to cash out on that. And like you said, we're really going to surprise some people with how good I think we're going to be this upcoming season, especially we have a favorable schedule. That'll give that defense time to acclimate, especially favorable schedule in non-con and early. We'll give the defense time to acclimate, and I'm thinking the offense has a good chance to be hitting on all cylinders pretty early on. So West Virginia's got a chance to, rack up some wins early in the season, maybe get close to that win-loss line within, that first half of the season. I do think they have some favorable games there in the first 6 or so games of the season, plenty of home games this year, so I agree. I think we're going to surprise some people. It's going to be a really good team this year, in my opinion. We'll see what happens, though. I can't wait to do the season prediction roundtable show as we start another season of the podcast with Brad and Steven in August. That'll be fun. Kenny says, I'm glad to see players who are early to build the culture. The more you practice, the better you get. Yeah, that's something I was really excited about with this spring football, is more so than any in the past, both because of how many players enrolled early and because there being no portal window after the spring now. We're getting to see pretty darn close to a finalized version of this team in the spring. There's still, I think it's either 12 or 13. I want to say 13 more guys that will enroll over the summer that aren't on the roster yet, mainly freshman guys. But you have over 100 players here already. So this is this spring we're learning a lot about this team that's not going to change. And that's the first time in a long time that's been the case, pretty much since the portal era became a thing, because after spring, you'd have that other portal window and guys would leave. You'd bring in a ton of new guys, and you wouldn't really get a finalized version of your team at all. This year at the Spring Festival, this year through spring football, we're getting to see a more finalized version of the 2026 West Virginia Mountaineers, which is really exciting. Really exciting that so many guys did enroll early and get here to participate in the spring for sure. Big Dan T says, I already put a couple hundred on the over-under. Hey, don't blame me there on that over-under season wins line we were talking about. DraftKings doesn't have theirs out yet. I use DraftKings mainly. I think I've seen FanDuel does. Once DraftKings comes out, I'm throwing some to it, man, because they definitely owe me. I've lost a couple, little pennies the past couple of years betting on the over-under season win line, but this year I feel more confident in it than I have in a long time, so I'm going to throw some dollars on that one too, Big Dan T. I don't blame you a bit. Kenny says we need so bad to be in the top 25 this year. Bold prediction right now. I think it happens this year, especially talking about like I was earlier. If they can get off to that good start in the first 6 games or so of the season, like I think they can, that would be a good chance for you to get ranked early on in 2026. But we'll see what happens. It's been far too long since it's been ranked in the AP poll, but I think Rich Rod's going to get it done and get us there. They're building this hard edge culture with this new team. A lot more pieces that fit better within that culture, a lot more athletic pieces, a lot more speed on the team, a lot more length. All of those things are really positive. And hey, here today we got some positive updates on the running back room to kind of coincide with the positivity we've heard about the offense in general thus far in the spring, and can't wait to the next media appearance for the coaches following another spring practice. So I'm come back and chat about it with you guys again, but be more live streams coming this week because the college basketball crown starting in just a couple of days for the Mountaineers. Of course, we'll have WVU News Daily out as a pre-recorded video every Monday through Friday, so look out for that tomorrow. Appreciate you guys that tuned into this one live. Appreciate you guys that watched it on the playback as well. Plenty more coming at you here as we continue through spring football and lead up to the start of the 2026 WVU season. Be covering it all here on the Country Roads webcast, so stick with me here. Until next time, let's go Mountaineers.